This conference will now be recorded.
So we left off last time how the neshama has its place that it goes to, and the guf, the body, has its place that it goes to. The body returns to the earth, where it will decompose in order to be rebuilt ultimately. The soul, the neshama, goes to its place, which is what we call the olam neshamot, an in-between stage where it has the pleasure, and at the same time it is revving itself up that when it will be returned to the guf, to the body, it will just purify, elevate that body into a whole different realm where the body and soul together will be able to have this devekus, this clinging to Hashem. And we were discussing a few moments ago that perhaps we could think of a warming fire, perhaps we could think of a warm embrace, but that is what this devekus is. It is this close connection to Hashem. V'ulam. So paragraph there 13. We need to know ki gam ata, that even now, when the neshama has entered our body, which is this guf over, this passing body, this body that will not be eternal in its present state. Even though this neshama has not yet acquired perfection as a result of its actions, its deeds, nevertheless, it is a neshama. It is this lofty soul. Hine mitzad yikara v'zara, but because of its preciousness, its zohar, its brilliance, ha'atzmi, its inherent yikara v'zahara, hayara'ui shetitein zikul gadol l'chomer. It really should transform this physicality. Ad sheyeh yotze migeder hamin anoshi. A human being with the soul inside should become this super person, this superman, this superwoman, not just a mortal human being. Amnam, but God's decree that it can't do that which it inherently would do, koveshet ota, it restrains it, it conquers it, it restrains it from doing that. Uma'alemet kolcha, and it holds back its ability. Umam etet zahara, and it diminishes this glow, this brilliance. Ba'ofen shlo yimashek min ha'inyan zeh, that it will not immediately transform the body into this different essence. Aval rather teishev shama luta v'atzma, but it stays there. It resides in us, so to speak. Luta, obstructed, minimized, ba'atzma, hidden. Ba'oto ha'shiyur ha'mitzdarech, to the degree that it's necessary, lefi ha'kavanah ha'yonah, in order to fulfill this real purpose. Just 1 second. I see Robin. Let me post again the chat so you'll have the link. Okay. Upoelet baguf ba'oto haseder, and it will act upon the body ba'oto haseder v'hashiur, in that system and to the degree hanirtza that Hashem wants, michachmatoi v'achshemo, that His wisdom decreed. V'hinei k'fi ma'aseh hatovim shosav olechet. Now, according to the good actions that a person does, the mitzvot, the Torah, the chesed, etc., hayla litpashet, it should then spread further, ulihizdaher, and to illuminate, kamoshe zacharnu, like we mentioned, ba'az hayimagia mimena hazikuch laguf, and that would then purify and illuminate the body. But according to the decree that we mentioned above, that now is not the time for it. We're not yet ready for it. Lo yitachen lazeh. So it's not possible for it to do this. Elid bioto, but it'll only do that at that later stage 3 we'll call it, ba'olam, or actually stage 2, ba'olam ha-nishamot, in the world of the nishamot. When I was a teenager in Israel, I had the incredible privilege and honor of spending a Shabbos with a close friend. We went to Rav Hillel Zaks. Rav Hillel Zaks Zatzal was the grandson of the Chafetz Chaim and the Rosh Yeshiva of the Chevron Yeshiva branch, right after the Chevron massacre in 1928 or 29. The Chevron Yeshiva moved to Yerushalayim, and he was the Rosh Yeshiva of the Chevron Yeshiva. And we were walking, and I was not yet a yeshiva person myself at that point. And I was walking my friend and I were walking with Rav Zaks Zatzal to Mincha Shabbos afternoon. And something that had been on our minds was, we were starting to understand learning Torah is important. But grabbing every minute and every word, how important is that? That we were, not so aligned with. And out of the clear blue, he said to us, he just started talking, and he said, guys, he was from Chicago, he had a Chicago accent. Guys, you have to realize that every word of Torah that you learn, it turns your neshama not from an orange to a grapefruit, but from a peanut to a watermelon. That's what every word of Torah does. But when we're here in this world, it's covered over, and we don't see it, we don't feel it. Excuse me, but he said, but then the Mashiach's going to come, and he's going to tear open all of that physicality, and then all that brilliance will come through. And when I read the words of the Ramchal, how right now it's the neshav is revving up from everything that we do, but it is not yet going to explode and dazzle and ignite and illuminate, but it's getting ready for the time when it will. Years and years, and it was amazing that out of the clear blue, he started talking about this issue that my friend and I had been discussing and struggling. Years and years later, when I was then a Rebbe at that yeshiva that where I had been a student, he came to speak at the yeshiva, and I had the privilege of driving him home. And I told him this story. He didn't remember it, but I told him this story, how he had just touched upon exactly what we needed to hear. And he shared with me another beautiful teaching. And he said, Klal Yisroel, the people of Israel, we're all one body. And just like he said, just like if your right arm is doing exercise, so it needs some extra energy, so the body will pump the energy over to the right arm to give it the oxygen and give it the nutrients, or to give it what it needs to do the work that it's doing. The body senses that a part of it is in need, and it sends over. So too, right? The part of the body, namely you and your friend, were in need of a certain understanding. So the body sent it over. And that's how I was able to, and that's how there was this meeting of what I decided to share and what you guys needed to hear. Achen, let's continue now. Beshuva baguf, but at stage 3, when this soul will return to the body, acharat techiyah, after that the resurrection, lo titma'et, it will not be minimized, velo titalem, and it will not be hidden or obscured. Ela tikanes b'chol zahara, it will enter with all of its glow, uv'chol kocha, and all of its strength. Va'az miyad, immediately, tizakechet haguf, it'll purify this body, hahu, that body of that stage, zikuch gadol, a tremendous purification. It will not be done like children. They gradually grow, they gradually mature, they gradually develop. It will not be done ma'at, in slow, incremental stages, little by little. Elimiyad, immediately, bishato, at that moment, ta'irbo, it will light it up. Umiyad, and immediately, tizakacheu, it will purify it. Zikuch gadol, a tremendous purification. Ba'amnam, lo yimna zeh shi'eh l'guf l'neshama yachad iluyim achar iluyim. That will not discount that afterwards there will be level after level, ascent after ascent. Aval, rather, the idea is shemiyad, immediately b'va neshama v'guf, when that neshama returns to the body, yehadamahu yakar v'naleh, that person will be yakar, uplifted, yakar, precious, illuminated, uplifted, naleh. The gufo yekabel miyad zikuch rishon, and the body will receive that immediate first purification. Yitalevo mikol ma shaya kol yemei chayav harishonim, and will become elevated from all that which had been done, all that which was accomplished during one's earlier days. That zikuch, that purification, will be based on all that the person had done until that point. And that place in the person on a level that he's deserving to be, he or she is deserving to be, from those who will merit this perfection. And afterwards they will continue to ascend as they go up from level to level to level. The expression we use, we even say today, you should go mechayel l'chayel. You should go from strength to strength. So then there are these constant elevations that'll get into more detail as we go further on.
Rabbi,
yes, Susie.
So I am a true believer of what Ramchal is saying, right? I understand what he's saying, but for those of us who don't have enough background in Bible, the question is, where did he come up with this thing? In other words, why would we believe that what he's saying is true? In other words, what source is he relying on to say all these things?
Okay, so this is a point we've touched on before, and we have what's called the Torah shebichtav, and we have what's called the Torah shebal peh. There is the written Torah, and there is the oral Torah. These are Kabbalistic concepts. Now, what does Kabbalah mean? Kabbalah means receiving. So these were teachings that were passed down from, we believe, from Moses on Mount Sinai to select students, and it was passed down until the point where it was written in a more revealed manner for nincompoops like myself and perhaps others to be able to access it more. And actually, when the Torah Shebal Peh was going to be written down, when it was in danger of being forgotten, so then there was this concern that the halachic aspects could be written down. That's not a problem. But when it comes to these Kabbalistic concepts, how are they going to be passed down selectively once it's written down and it's available for everyone to come see, and everyone can get their art scroll, Gemaras and Ciner Gemaras, and it's translated into every which language. Someone recently donated to the shul a whole set of the Talmud translated into German. I had to find a home for that. I wasn't sure exactly, how much we could use that. I was able to find a home for that. So the way that it was written down in the Gemara, in a way that it would stay pretty exclusive for those who are meant to understand it, is that we have what's called the Agadata, where there are a lot of these parables and these fantastic stories where people who are unknowledgeable will say, well, the Gemara can't be legitimate. The Talmud can't be legitimate because look at all the crazy things that is written in there. And the truth is, it is legitimate. And the crazy things were written in a crazy manner so that people like those who make those comments don't understand it, won't understand it. It's not meant for them. But this is all part of the Torah Shebaal Peh. This is what was passed down through Moshe Kibel Torah Sinai and passed it down to Yoshua, who passed down to the Zakenim, who passed it down to the Nevi'im, to the elders, and then to the Nevi'im, to the prophets. And this is the Torah that was passed down. We mentioned last time, there are many parts of it which are hinted to in the Torah. I brought an example last week, I think it was, that we say in the Shema in the end of the second paragraph of the Shema, that the land that God swore that he would give to the Avot, to the patriarchs. Well, he never gave it to the patriarchs, but he swore he would give it to the patriarchs. That's talking about in the future time, by Tchias HaMesim. So there are many, many allusions and hints to it, but it is not explicit in the Torah. And the Ramban says it's easy to bring proofs of, that's what will happen over there. The Torah deals with the here and now, right? Keep the laws of Shemitah and you'll have a bounty the 6th year. Travel in during the Shalosh Regalim, and all the men are from all the borders of Israel are traveling in, and you will be safe. You will not be attacked. All of your neighboring countries, who to this day are not necessarily so peaceful with us, right? Even then that was the case, but they will be involved with internal matters. The Torah gives us things that are the here and now in this world. Ubacharta b'chayim. We are a nation, we're a religion that focuses on life. And therefore we live and we do. And we do it for the here and now. It says in Avot, don't be like the servant who's serving God in order to receive the reward. We serve Hashem because of all that Hashem is giving us every moment, every heartbeat, every ability to see and to hear and to walk and to talk and all that he's giving us. That's why we try to do whatever we can to serve Hashem. And that doesn't even come close to evening the score. But this is giving us a glimpse into the Jewish belief of what happens afterwards.
What about somebody who's not that worthy?
Who's not that worthy to reach these stages?
Yes. What happens to them with Tchiat HaMetim and all those things?
So the way he puts it is that not everyone merits Tchiat HaMetim. He will go into that. Not everyone merits that.
Yeah, only the righteous will resurrect.
Yeah, but the way I understand that, based on now time I can go through a teaching from Rav Moshe based on the Gemara Baba Batra, that Hashem takes into account. It's not that this person did this amount and that person did that amount. What gets taken into account is every aspect of the way a person was brought up and the experiences that they had and all that they dealt with. So you could have a person who does a lot who might be on a lower level than a person who does less because of different abilities that each of them had, different experiences that each of them had. And so I like to think, perhaps it's wishful thinking, but that I only see tzaddikim around me. That's all I see. I only see righteous people around me. And some are doing more, some are doing less, but some started off at a very different place and others started off. And others have had difficult experiences with others. So my belief, hope, is that well, certainly Hashem takes all that into account. And my belief and hope is that Hashem, with his rachamim, will see tzaddikim all around. But it's not a shoe-in, Galit, that everyone is just of course is there. That's what we need to earn. We need to earn. Okay,
Yeah.
let us start Perek Revi'i, the 4th chapter, which is human responsibility. Okay, we have again some bounce backs. I'm just gonna if ever you just mute if you're not talking. Otherwise, we get a lot of I get a lot of bouncing back. Okay. Does anybody else hear like this didump, ba-dump every moment? Yeah. Okay, a little musical background here. Just 1 second. Dalit, if you can mute yourself. Okay. Perek Revi'i, chapter 4. Human responsibility. B'matzavo shel ha'adam, the status of mankind ba'olam hazeh, in this world, v'hadrachim shelefanav, and the paths that are before us, b'derech prat, in more detail. And this is going to bring us, like I said before, a little bit closer to home. Okay. Dalit, if you can mute, I think you're giving us a lot of musical accompaniment over here. I'm not sure. When it comes to man's status, condition in this world, ibachanu shnei inyanim. There are two aspects, two things here. Tchunat atzmo shel adam. There is the composition, the person's own makeup, b'chalakav, the different parts of the person, v'harkava, somehow we all come together. V'hamakom. There is the person, the essence of the person, and then there is the environment. Asher hu musambo, that we are placed into, b'chol mashem mitlavela, with all that which accompanies that. And we discussed this already. All right, chapter 2 or paragraph 2, b'bchinat ha'adam atzmo, when it comes to the composition of man himself, hine kvar zachanu echu murkav, how we are this composition, this duality. We have this duality. That we have these two opposite aspects. Fahainu, which is the neshama, the otherworldly soul, and the very earthly guf body. V'ulam, when we look at this duality, we start off fully physical. The todotav, and the results of that, chazakot b'ma'od, are very strong, very strongly rooted in us. Kihine miyad chaledato, immediately after we are born, kimat kulo chamri, we are kulo chamri, we are completely physical. Ve'ena seichel poel bo ela ma'at, the seichel, the intellect, is doing just the bare minimum. Give me eat, give me food, I want to nurse, I'm hungry, I'm dirty, clean me. That's basically what's happening. Ukvit gadlo, and as the person grows, yelech hasechel halof v'chazek, the seichel, the intellect, certainly grows slowly, surely. B'chol echad k'finyanav, each one according to his way. Ba'al kol panim, but even with that, lo yasur chamriyot mimsholbo, but that does not depose the rule of the physicality over a person. Umeyatot to elyonav, and that physicality is always pulling us towards it has its lures. Ella she'im yigdal b'chachmato, but if a person will become great in their intellect, wisdom, spirituality, the yilmad ba, and delve into it, study it, v'itchazek v'drachea, and strengthen oneself in its ways, he'll manage to overcome these natural, physical, material inclinations and foundations. And he will not let go of the reins of his of his desires from his hand. He'll be holding them back and working on controlling them. Be it that same, and he'll have that strength, lalechet, to go, balichot hasechel, in the pathways of the intellect of the spirituality. V'ulam, tochiat ha'inyanim ha'ela shanorim, hinehu, but we see right before our eyes, shev'mitziut ha'chomer v'atzmuto, nimtza ha'chirut v'achoshech b'teva, that in this physicality, in this materialism, is found this darkness, the achirut, the choshech of the teva, of the physicality. And this is something that is very distant and almost the antithesis of the inyan, the ideal of drawing close to God, and clinging to his kedusha. So even if a person does, it's a constant battle. And I like to say it's like the physicality has within us the home court advantage. V'neshama atzma, and that neshama itself, granted it is pure, it is lofty, but once it enters this physical body, v'histabcha bo, and it becomes mistabech, all entangled in it, nimseit gurusha u'dechuya, this soul seems to be divorced, sent away, distanced, me'inyana ha'tiv'i, from its natural state, el inyan hafchilo, to something that is opposite of what it's about. Uchvusha bo, pekoach machriach, and it is conquered, it is contained, it is restrained in this body. Lo tuchal latzeit mimana, and it can't leave the clutches of all of these physical material pulls. Elim kain titametz bekoach chazak, unless it really draws all of its strength with tremendous koach, tremendous strength, mena koach hamachricha, from that which is pulling it, guiding it, forcing it in a different direction. And being that Hashem decreed that this union will not be separated. Perush, ki perid hamavta ein el davar lefi sha'ah. They're always going to be together, meaning death is a temporary hiatus of this partnership.
Yes.
Simply ad tchiat hametim, until the resurrection.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it will once again return to the body. And the two of them will be there together for eternity.
Yeah.
Just 1 second, Uzi. So it's clear that the neshama needs to work and strengthen to continuously go and to weaken at koach choshech achamriut, the strength of this dark physicality, ad sheyishaer haguf bilti chashoch, until the body will no longer be in this darkened state. Va'az yuchal lehitalot, and then it can ascend the body ima with the soul, v'lei or bar leyon, to be illuminated from that lofty light. Tachat ma shaita hi mitchashechet v'nishpel m'tchila, in place of how it was first darkened and lowered as the result of it. Yes, Uzi, you wanted to say something?
I just this reminds me the interaction between God and Moses with the burning bush. You know, the fact of the matter is that God told Moses to take his shoes off before he can talk to him. The idea is that he needed, you know, when he communicates with the Almighty, he communicates with the soul. And the soul now is entangled with a physical materialistic body, so it's hurting inside the body. And so that's why he told him to take his shoes off, so that his soul could could be released from this materialistic body so they can communicate.
Have that
That's why in
nevuah,
Hebrew,
prophecy. Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why in Hebrew, to take your shoes off is to, how do you say to take your shoes off? I forget now.
Hashem told Moses, "Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha."
Shal, right.
Yeah.
In Hebrew, it's lahalotz na'alaim, lahalotz.
Yeah.
Lahalotz is to save, to rescue, meaning
Yeah.
you rescue your soul. When you take your shoes off, then you rescue your soul, meaning the soul has a way to get out.
Yeah.
Okay? And the opposite is to wear your shoes is lin'ol na'alaim, is to lock your shoes. Meaning when you lock your shoes, what are you locking? You're locking your soul inside your body.
Nice.
And I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's very interesting
So
to know.
let's see where he goes with this. V'ulam ha'adam ba'olam hazeh hu b'matzav echad. So mankind in this world is in a situation shachomer chazak bo, that the physicality has its lock, its ne'ilah, is strong on him. Ubiyot hachomer achor v'chashoch, and being that this physicality is darkened, heavy, nimtzad b'choshech gadol. Mankind is in this darkness, great darkness, v'rachok ma'od, very distant, mima shevoi lo sheyeh, from what he's supposed to become. Liot midabek bo yidvarach shemo, to be clinging to Hashem. V'ana bezet tzor sheyasmish taluto. Granted, that's what we need to make our efforts. L'chazek et nishmato neged kol hachomro, to strengthen our neshama against this physicality. U'leitiv et matzmo, to bring ourselves up. U'la'alot atzmo ilo yad shashiyar ro'ilo, to ascend to the level that we can. So in terms of the body and in terms of the world, the deck is stacked against us. Gimel 3, v'amakom asher hu b'tocho, and the place that we are situated in, gam hu chamri v'choshek, is also very physical. The cholim seim shebo chamriyam, and its physicality all around us. Va'esek shel adam bo v'olamo, efshar sheyeh el esek chamri v'gufani, and we're forced to be involved in the very physical, material way. We're all physical bodies. And our structure, who we are, forces us to be involved in the physical, in the material. We have to eat. We have to drink. And all other inyanim atziviyim, and all other, we need to remove wastes. We're forced to be living a very physical existence. And we need money. We need acquisitions. You can't live if you don't have the means with which to live. In order to acquire the things that we need. The nimtza. So again, the deck seems to be very stacked against us. Whether we're looking at the physical the composition of a person, Bei mitzad olamo, we're looking at the world around us, Bei mitzad asakav, and looking at that with which we must be dealing. Hu tavua b'chomer, we are sunken into the physicality. Umeshuka, we are immersed in its darkness. V'amel gadol v'ishtadlut chazaka yisrach lo letalot ha'matzav stach mizeh, and tremendous effort and work needs to go to bring us out of this. V'hu muchrach v'tivov v'nina chamri alayla, and we need to keep channeling, to keep pulling all of these physical things onto ourselves. So what hope do we have? And we'll start Dalet, because this next first paragraph of Dalet of 4 is such an incredibly powerful concept. V'ulam, however, me'omek atzad chachmato, from the depth of God's wisdom and counsel, Yiparach Shemo, blessed is His name, hayal sader hadvarim ba'ofen, was to arrange things in this manner, she'af biyot adam shakua, that even while a person is immersed, bachomer, in this physicality, behechrech, and we have to be, kamosh katav, as we've written, yuchal mitoch hachomer atzmo, from utilizing this physicality itself, va'esek hagufani, and the body's actions, hasig et hashleimut. It's through that we can acquire this perfection. Vahitalut el hazoch velamala, and this elevation to purity and to loftiness. Va'adarabah, on the contrary, hashpalato tiyeh hagbahato. These three words are incredible. Hashpalato tiyeh hagbahato. It is our lowliness that gives us our ability to elevate. Umisham yikne yakar v'kavod she'ein kamohu. And that's how we acquire this illumination, this honor, this greatness that cannot be matched. That cannot be matched anywhere else in all the different realms. The angels can't match this. Bioto hofech et hachoshech la'or. When we turn the choshech, we transform the darkness into light. Ve'et hatzalmavet lenoge yazriach, and the tzalmavet and the shadows into this dazzling illumination. So what is the gift that is given to us? That in this physical world, we have the ability to transform the physical into the spiritual. Whenever we make a bracha before a mitzvah, what do we say? Asher kitishanu b'mitzvotav. That you sanctify us with the mitzvot. The mitzvah, I always say, my 20-second elevator pitch. Rabbi, what is a mitzvah? A mitzvah is a physical act done by a physical person in the physical world that allows us to touch the eternity, to touch the spiritual, to touch the godly. And that is the greatest opportunity that we have, that we can take all of that goes on around us, all the physical around us, and infuse that with spirituality. And with the money that we have to earn, we give the tzedakah. And with the physical face that we have, we give a smile and we cheer up somebody. We take all of this physicality and we bring it up. And I think also when we look at ourselves, our own lives, and we see that often it's in the times of our most difficult times that have afforded us the greatest opportunity to elevate ourselves and to grow. Because it's when we have that darkness, that's when we have the ability to lift that up. Hashbalato tiyeh hagbato. Our very lowliness, that is our key to our greatness. And we say Kedushin, the Kadesh Shimcha Ba'olam, we should sanctify your name in this world, the same way, Kishen Shemati Shimoto, the same way that is sanctified, Bishmei Marom, and we quote the angels, the prophets heard the angels saying, Kadosh, 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 Baruch Bar Hashem. How can we do it the way the angels do it? And the truth is we can't do it the way they do it. We do it better than they do it, because they're surrounded by light constantly. But we are in a world which pulls us in so many ways, and when we can transform that into what's supposed to be, that is the greatest. I need to sign off now because it's 6, so I need to run to Mariv. So if people have questions, please write it down. I know I'm pulling out the plug right in the middle, but it is 6:30, so I need to run. But please write it down, and let's start with that next week.
Isar Koch, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.